How many acts of treason must Harry commit before he's removed from the line of succession, titles are removed, and those unverified children also removed from the line of succession? How much more treason can Harry commit? Never mind marrying the skanky wife, committing fraud, and all other, the tax thing that he did with Travelers and Sussex Royal Foundation. Never mind that. But how many more treasonous acts must this guy make before he's actually called a traitor and be removed from everything that has to do with the royal family? Let's get into this. Oh my God, Harry does a skit, comedy skit, to a worldwide audience. Right when Charles, or before Charles, is opening Parliament for the first time in 7 years. I'm not a fan of King Charles. You all know that. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not a liar. But Harry gladly accepted the medal. He didn't refuse the medal that he got for attending the king's coronation. He didn't. He didn't. He accepted that medal, like the many other medals that he has accepted. He accepted 4 medals from the Queen. One for attending the Jubilee, I believe, one for the personal service to the Queen, another one for being 5 years in the army, and the other one for going to Afghanistan, and the poppy, to remember the veterans, of course. I mean, does Harry truly consider himself a veteran? So he was gifted one for the king's coronation. To all the armed forces, all the military personnel, they were granted one for that occasion, because that represents your duty and your allegiance to the King, Commonwealth. King, country, and Commonwealth. We have Harry on the royal website saying that. Yet for this skit that he did for comedy for a worldwide audience, he wore all the medals except the one for the coronation of Charles and Camilla. That means that he does not recognize Charles as king. Basically, he's shouting out what Republic is shouting. Charles is not my king. That's what Harry said to the world. King Charles, is no king of mine. Because he refused to. People don't understand the significance of these things, But it is actually very significant that he didn't wear that medal. And he did it on purpose because he's pissed that his skanky wife was not invited to Charles' birthday party. And they were told, if you are to come, you bring the kids with you. So, I mean, you would have thought that you'd be thrilled to bring your children to meet your grandpa. Because Charles hasn't met Lily. That's bold that they brought Lily the last time they were. Then there was that birthday party. Meghan would have leaked each and every picture that she could get her chicken claws in, But she didn't. Yet we still have Harry in the royal website, which literally says the following. The role of the royal family. Members of the royal family work together to support the king in his official duties. And here you have members of the royal family. Guess who's coming right up? Yep, let's click on him. The Duke of Sussex is 5th in line to the throne, and the younger son of the King and Diana, Princess of Wales. He spent 10 years working in the armed forces, ending operational duties in 2015. During his service, he conducted 2 tours of duty to Afghanistan with the British Army. As announced in January 2020, the Duke and Duchess have stepped back as senior members of the royal family. Not as working members of the royal family, but as senior members of the royal family. Words matter. They are balancing their time between the United Kingdom and North America, continuing to honor their duty to the King, the Commonwealth, and their patronages. Now, however, if you go down here and you go straight to biography, it says the Duke of Sussex is the younger son of the King and Diana, Princess of Wales. Okay? And then it tells you this. And then it goes there at the bottom. Their official residence, this again was changed 2 months ago. Their official residence is Frogmore Cottage. But as announced in January 2020, the Duke and Duchess will spend the majority of time in North America following their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. Not as working members to the royal family, but as senior members. And in his biography, you will get supporting the monarch. Following the announcement that the Duke and Duchess will be stepping back as senior members of the royal family, their roles will continue to reflect their sense of duty and allegiance to the monarch as they transition into the new working model. The new working model. What new working model? For whom? Who are they working for? For the monarchy? The Duke attaches great importance to his role in the royal family's public service to the UK and around the Commonwealth. He has been inspired by the example of duty and leadership of his grandmother, the late Elizabeth II, and his father, the King. So for those of you, before you jump here and says, but it hasn't been updated. It has been updated. They transition from being full-time working members of the royal family to this new working royal model. Okay? And the Duke attaches great importance to his role in the royal family's public service. So being in the United States is part of his public service to the UK and around the Commonwealth. Can somebody please translate this to me in a language, in a logic language I can understand? So as we just read, Harry has a new working model for the monarchy by not wearing the the medal that Charles gave him when he became king. It's saying that he does not honor nor recognizes Charles as king. So how can this man be still included in the royal website? Never mind the line of succession. A royal website from the monarchy that states that he honors his duty to the king. And his Kanki wife is there too. His unverified children are in the line of succession of a constitutional monarchy, having titles while not even being in the United Kingdom. Meghan, the skank raglan, is in the United States branding that title like cheap toilet paper or the cheap poop spray that she used to advertise at the TIG. At what point will Parliament step in? No, that bill that's been having a second reading, I don't know if it had it now or not, it's not to give Parliament power, because the word constitutional monarchy says it all. They can remove Charles from the throne if Parliament believes that he's not fulfilling his job. If Parliament thinks that they have that power, they can remove him. And for those of you who are going to say, what the F you're talking about, Paula? Let's get a little bit into this, okay? Keep in mind that this is not some random obscure website that I'm getting this information from. This is the royal.uk website, this website of the monarchy, where Harry is featured. It says succession. The succession to the throne is regulated not only through descent, but also by parliamentary statute. The order of succession is the sequence of members of the royal family in the order in which they stand in line to the throne. Right? We have there Charles and Prince William. And it says here The basis for the succession was determined in the constitutional developments of the 17th century, which culminated in the Bill of Rights, 1689, and the Act of Settlement in 1701. When James fled the country in 1688, Parliament held that he had abdicated government and that the throne was vacant. The throne was then offered not to the next in line. For example, instead of being offered to William, it was offered to let's say, to Harry, okay? But this is not what, I'm not saying that it has happened, but this is what happened then. The throne was then offered not to James' young son, but to his daughter, Mary, and her husband, William of Orange, as joint rulers. It therefore came to be established not only that the sovereign rules through Parliament, but that the succession to the throne can be regulated by Parliament, and that a sovereign can be deprived of her title through misgovernment. The Act of Settlement confirmed that it was for Parliament to determine the title to the throne. I keep giving Charles the benefit of the doubt, because after all, he waited 70 years to be on the throne. It's actually a historic thing. Even I would wear that medal. It's given to me. Harry was given that medal just because, you know, he is his son. But that he could have refused the medal and say, no, thank you, I do not want the medal. He could have done that. Did he do it? No, he didn't do it. Of course not, because he needed another new shiny medal. Yet, for that comedy skit bit, he refused to wear it, and by refusing to wear that medal, says he does not recognize Charles as king, just because he's not, you know, his wife is not invited to the party. Never mind the $9 million that Charles gave Harry for the down payment of that ridiculous mansion that they barely spent time in there. Never mind that Harry disclosed through his pettiness that Charles, there was an agreement with Sandringham that they would be financially supported pretty much all their lives if they stuck to certain agreements. They violated those agreements, and I'll tell you why Harry and Meghan violated those agreements, the Sandringham Agreement, and named the guy. Because they got cocky. They thought that they were going to be billionaires by now because everybody wanted them. It got to their heads that they were important, that they would be making all these millions and millions and millions with the titles and Netflix and Spotify. It got to their heads. What they were not counting on is being fired for not having talent. Because unlike the United Kingdom and the Monarchy, they fire your ass if you're not fulfilling your job, you know. They do. They don't care if you have like 40 titles. They will still fire you. They will still kick you out. So they weren't counting on that. This is why they thought, oh, my pa, he's giving us a mil a year, or 2 mil a year, because I think Harry received £2 million a year of pocket money when he was working for the monarchy. On top of all the privileges, the free housing, the servants, everything, he got about £2 million a year for himself, right? I think it was around that time. Please correct me if I am wrong. I'm always happy to be corrected. And by the way, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff, beautiful people. Thanks for buying the merch. And the super thanks, the super thanks icon is under the video for those who keep asking me, okay? So yes. So why can Charles act on the good of the monarchy? How much more treason can Harry commit? Because when you state as a British subject, especially a royal one, that you do not recognize him as your king, that's committing treason. And you're promoting it abroad and in a worldwide stage. Again, while having unverified children in the line of succession. Those children are unverified. We don't know if they came out of Meghan's body. I personally think that they didn't. And these children are being isolated and mistreated. Isolation is a form of abuse. No two ways about it. They're abandoned because Harry and Meghan, I'm sure that if they're invited they're not, but I'm sure they're invited. They will go, and they will not bring the children again. And the only reason why Harry didn't fly to that comedy thing that he did is because he knows, and they read the papers. Meghan has like 12 or 13 accounts on Twitter that she uses to trash people like me. So, what do you beautiful people think? Harry has committed treason by publicly stating that Charles is not his king. He's joined Republic. And all because his wife is throwing a tantrum that she's not allowed to come to his birthday party to get new material for whatever skankiness they're doing. So they are being denied material for books and whatever shows they want to create. So what the Monarchy is saying, if you want new material, you're going to have to make it up. Because now we have Omid Scobie coming up with that skanky book, the royal racism, gloves are off for Harry. What can Harry say? He's a moron. He's a verified liar. Unlike his children, who are unverifiably royal. Because if the children were not born out of the woman's body, those children cannot be considered royal children. Even if they're Harry's kids. They cannot be considered royal because they would not be allowed to wear a royal title or be called royal at all. Only the children born out of the woman's body can be called royal. Even if it's Harry's, if those are Harry's kids. I mean, what do you beautiful people think with all this information? What will Harry have to do to be kicked out, removed from the monarchy's website? Because clearly he's not honoring the king, the Commonwealth, and he has no royal duties. So what's going on here? And all of this over a birthday invitation that Meghan Markle did not receive.